The subsectors within life sciences that I see having a lot of potential for M&A, biotech. Biotech, particularly the large biotech companies. If you look, at least 4 or 5 of the top 15 or 20 life science companies these days are biotechs. That wasn't the case very long ago. This is measured by market cap, mind you, right? But these companies have absolutely come on scene in a very big way. And if you think about it, they have all the same infrastructure as the large pharmaceutical companies do in terms of sales forces, manufacturing, global operations, et cetera. But they don't have nearly the level of product to put through that infrastructure, the manufacturing or the distribution. So they have capacity and they don't have issues yet because their products are on the market, still early on in their life cycle. They have pricing power still. So they're not necessarily feeling it today, but if they don't come out with additional products 5, 10 years down the line, then the issue that has plagued the pharma companies for the past decade will seemingly have the potential to plague the biotech companies. So the replenishing of the pipeline, the issue that pharma companies have dealt with for the longest time, I think if you look closely, biotech companies are going to be thinking the exact same way, and they're going to be looking for how can we replenish it now before others may realize that this could be an issue for their subsector. So the big biotech companies with huge market caps, et cetera, and a lot of investor positive sentiment behind them, I think you're going to see them continue to be acquisitive. They have been acquisitive if you look over the past couple of years. Sometimes not big splashy deals, but nonetheless picking up a product or two here and there. That'll continue. I'd also tell you that biotech in the mid to small cap range, so think of companies maybe $500 million to $5 billion. If you look closely, many of them have had a nice ride with, again, positive investor sentiment in terms of their prospects for bringing one or a limited number of products to market. But there's a lot of things that they have yet to do. Like they may have never brought a product to market yet, and right now they're riding the hype of they can do it, but they have yet to do it. So they're looking around, as opposed to potentially getting bought by another company, they're saying, let me merge with someone like myself. So let me have 2 or 3 or 4 legitimate shots on goal for late stage compounds, and maybe at least 1 or 2 of those shots on goal will materialize. They're also able to kind of preserve the culture that they've had. If they merge with someone like themselves, similar sized, right? There'll be a greater ability for them to, I'll say, kind of continue to see the fruits of their success versus if they allow the company to get bought by a much bigger organization, and then people go here and there, and the asset now gets absorbed by another company and perhaps doesn't end up the way that the originators and the key scientific people wanted to see it play out. So I really like biotech, both on the large end and also on the small to mid cap. Again, on the latter, they're kind of a merger of equals. The big pharmaceutical and big life science companies, they expanded globally in a meaningful way for a couple of years there. I think they'll continue to do that. Maybe they'll double down on some bets they have in certain countries. I do think that they've realized that there is a lot that they didn't know. From the standpoint of business practices around the world are dramatically different than they are here in the US. And so even if everything was very much on the up and up at the target company, it still may have been the case that with the alignment of business practices to the acquirer, that there've actually been a significant amount of dyssynergies in some instances as they lost business, just getting that alignment between business practices. Nonetheless, growth for many of these larger companies in any meaningful way is likely to come from outside the US. Outside of M&A, there is a ton of deal activity for life science companies. So licensing deals, collaboration agreements, partnerships. If I had to put a number to it, I'd say well over 75% of all deals that get done in life sciences are not M&A, but they're rather these license and collaboration type agreements. So I think because that's been so pervasive throughout the non-M&A deals, it's now very much become a key part of M&A deals. So back not 4 years ago, I think in M&A, contingent consideration was at best 5 to 10% of all deals, and it makes all kinds of sense when you've got some very risky assets that you're betting your future on to pay once those assets have proven themselves in terms of being able to pass regulatory muster and or commercial acceptance. So I think that You may never get to 100%, but I absolutely think that that we've hit the 50% mark, and we're going to continue to see that be more and more prevalent in deals going forward.